If you're a software exporter, SaaS founder, IT services company, freelancer or service exporter, this is one FEMA update you simply cannot afford to miss. From 1st October 2026, the familiar SOFTEX filing system is being replaced by a brand new Unified Export Declaration Form or Unified EDF. This change comes from FEMA 23R/2026 RB notified by the RBI on 13 January 2026, and it completely changes how software and service exports will be reported. In this video, we'll explain what SOFTEX was, why RBI made this change, how the new Unified EDF works, who needs to comply, and what you should do before the transition. Let's begin. Agenda. Here's what we'll cover today. First, we'll understand what SOFTEX was and why it existed. Then we'll discuss why RBI decided to replace it. After that, we'll explain the new Unified EDF framework and how it works in practice. We'll compare the old and new systems, identify who must comply, and finally share a practical action plan, along with how Femabide Advisorz can help businesses make a smooth transition. What was SOFTEX? Before this change, software exporters had to submit a software export declaration form, commonly known as SOFTEX. This declaration was filed with STPI or SEZ authorities and was mandatory for software exports and IT-enabled services. The reporting was done invoice by invoice, and in many cases, STPI certification was required. This meant businesses had to manage SOFTEX alongside GST compliance, banking documentation, and EDPMS reporting, creating additional compliance burdens, especially for MSMEs and freelancers. But why was SOFTEX important? Because RBI used it to monitor whether export proceeds were actually received in India. Without a certified SOFTEX, banks could treat foreign remittances as non-export receipts, which could impact EBRC generation, FIRC issuance, GST refund claims, EDPMS closure, and even future foreign exchange receipts. The regulatory shift. Now let's understand what has changed. The journey began with draft regulations in July 2024, followed by revised drafts in April 2025. The final notification came on the 13 January 2026, and the new rules became effective 1st October 2026. The biggest change is that SOFTEX and traditional EDF are now replaced by single unified export declaration form. Instead of maintaining different reporting systems, exporters will now use one declaration for goods, services, and software exports. Software exports are officially recognized as a category of services. Another important change is that authorized dealer banks are now recognized as a specified authority alongside STPI and SEZ authorities. EDPMS continues to remain the central system for monitoring export realization. From 1st October 2026, exporters will move entirely from separate SOFTEX and EDF filings to this new Unified EDF framework. How the new Unified EDF works. The new process is much simpler. First, you provide your software or service to the overseas client and raise your invoice. Instead of filing declarations for every invoice, you'll now file one consolidated EDF every month. This monthly filing must be submitted within 30 days from the end of the month. The declaration can be submitted to your authorized dealer bank or, where applicable, STPI or SEZ authorities. The authority will then upload the information into EDPMS within 5 working days. Some key operational points to remember are: monthly consolidation is now allowed. Export realization will continue to be tracked through EDPMS, which remains linked to EBRC generation. And until the operational guidelines are fully implemented, the existing SOFTEX framework will continue up to the 30th September 2026. SOFTEX versus Unified EDF. Let's compare the two systems. Earlier, exporters filed a separate SOFTEX form. Now there will be a single EDF for all exports. Earlier, SOFTEX covered only software and IT exports. Now the Unified EDF covers goods, services, and software together. Previously, filing was done invoice by invoice. Now it becomes a monthly consolidated filing. Certification earlier was mainly handled by STPI and SEZ development commissioners. Under the new regime, your authorized dealer bank can also certify the declaration. Software is no longer treated as a separate category. Instead, it becomes a subcategory of services. Finally, EDPMS integration becomes more direct through the specified authority. Who must file a Unified EDF? This new framework applies to a much wider group of exporters: software and IT exporters, including SaaS companies, product companies, custom software developers, and cloud service providers, IT-enabled service providers such as BPOs, KPOs, call centers, data processing companies, and content moderation businesses. Professional service exporters, including consultants, designers, marketing agencies, lawyers, accountants, and freelancers serving overseas clients. And even global capability centers providing services to overseas group entities. If you're exporting services from India, there's a strong chance this new framework applies to you. Certification authority metrics. The certification process also changes significantly. For software and digital exports from DTA units, certification can now be done either by your authorized dealer bank or STPI. For SEZ software exporters, certification can be handled by the AD Bank or the Development Commissioner. For non-software service exporters in DTA, the AD Bank becomes the mandatory certifying authority. For SEZ-based professional service exporters, the Development Commissioner remains the authority. The biggest practical benefit is that many DTA software exporters can now complete certification directly through their bank, reducing dependence on STPI processing timelines. In many cases, STPI certification becomes optional. Benefits and points of caution. The Unified EDF brings several advantages. A single declaration for all export categories, monthly consolidated reporting instead of invoice-wise filing, greater involvement of AD banks, optional STPI certification for many DTA exporters, clear recognition of software as a service, alignment with ease of doing business initiatives, and even self-declaration closure for certain EDPMS entries up to 10 lakh. However, exporters should also be cautious. Pure service exporters who never filed SOFTEX before now have new compliance obligations. Operational guidelines are still evolving. Banks may require time to update their internal systems. Choosing the correct purpose code remains extremely important. Pending EDPMS entries can still delay export receipts. The transition period requires careful preparation, and GST, EDF, and banking records must continue to be reconciled properly. Transition roadmap. So, what should exporters do now? Until September 2026, continue filing SOFTEX wherever applicable. Review your export invoices and purpose codes. Discuss readiness with your AD bank. Train your finance and compliance teams. From 1st October 2026, stop filing new SOFTEX forms. Start filing monthly consolidated Unified EDF declarations. Submit them through your AD bank. STPI or SEZ authority as applicable. Monitor your EDPMS entries closely. Going forward, regularly track RBI operational circulars. Reconcile GST banking and EDF records. Close small value entries promptly and seek professional advice whenever needed. How Femabide Advisorz can help. At Femabide Advisorz, we help businesses transition smoothly into the new compliance framework. We begin with a detailed gap assessment to identify readiness issues. We design customized monthly EDF workflows, including purpose code mapping and bank coordination. We liaise with AD banks, STPI, and SEZ authorities for smooth certification. We provide ongoing monthly EDF filing support, EDPMS monitoring, EBRC tracking, and reconciliation. We also train finance and operations team on the new RBI framework. And if your business has historical FEMA non-compliances, we assist with rectification, compounding applications, and regulatory cleanup. The retirement of SOFTEX marks one of the biggest changes in India's export compliance framework in recent years. While the Unified EDF simplifies reporting, businesses still need to understand the new rules and prepare well before 1st October 2026. If your business exports software or services anywhere in the world, you'd like expert guidance on the transition, reach out to Femabide Advisorz. We help you stay compliant while you stay focused on growing your business. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.